All right. How's it going? The Deadmanstome podcast with your hosts, Mr. Deadman, Becky, and SK. How are you guys doing?
Hold on, I gotta pee.
Oh, great timing.
My lord.
Always great timing with SK. Becky, how are you doing? You got to take a piss too?
No, I did that beforehand. I'm good.
Oh, look at
Thank
that.
you.
Look at that. Someone's professional around here. Someone's professional. Oh, man.
No, it's go that
You know
far.
what? My professionalism matches my salary.
Oh,
Matches
hey.
your personality.
so
Yeah,
nothing.
That too.
so nothing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Deadmanstone Podcast brought to you live deep in the heart of the trailer park in Meth County, Texas. Okay. No longer streaming on borrowed Wi-Fi from my neighbor. Just tapped directly into his line now. Like he doesn't care.
So much.
No, you tapped it to the pole.
Right? There's so much wrong going on here already. So much so my attorneys told me to shut the hell up. Okay. All right, we got a few announcements to get into this. Yes, Becky? You can say something? I don't want to mansplain all over you. What's going on?
Why not? You always do. I just was going to ask you how the new flock of midgets were.
Oh, the new flock of midgets that you didn't buy me, but SK did? You mean that flock? Oh,
Yeah.
Great. They're great. Okay, and they're not
I
called a
might need
flock.
to borrow
That's
them.
insulting. Okay, it's a herd. Actually,
herd.
It's a school. It's a school of midgets.
The
Okay.
school of midgets. I
Well,
might need to borrow them
Not
this
much
weekend.
of a school.
Well, I don't even know if they passed, but I know. You know what? They're great. SK, you got good ones. Okay. You got good ones. Next
Hey,
time, Becky,
you know,
don't sell
the
them for like
audition
3
process
pesos.
was rigorous and grueling, but it paid off.
Yeah.
I might need to borrow them this weekend if that's okay. I promise not to sell them.
Okay. If you could back that up, how am I supposed to believe you? How am I supposed to believe you, Becky? You just go down to Tijuana and sell them.
Again.
I'm not going to Tijuana.
Okay.
I just need them to help clean out closets.
Okay. Well, let's get some professionalism here. Look, we got 2 announcements. Okay. We got first off, Deadmanstome is working on a comic. Okay, we want to release a comic called
Yes.
Deadocalypse. Okay. This comic is great. It's illustrated, inked, and colored by the guy who's been doing our covers, Damascus Mincemeyer. Let me pull you up a panel, right? I should show something on the screen about this.
Yes, you should.
Because, boy, is there some good art. Let me put that up here real fast. Where are you? All right.
It's amazing.
All right, here we go. Here's some clips here. I'll put it on the screen now. This is what it looks like. Okay, high quality illustrations. Like Damascus Mincemeyer is not playing around. Like he's good. He has real good skill. Yeah, it's
wicked talented.
the comic is about
Speaking
zombies.
of professional,
Speaking of professionals, SK. Yeah,
yeah. Look at that art.
that is
Oh,
good.
no, he's really, really, really talented.
Mm-hmm.
And another one who doesn't think he has any talent.
Yeah, which is crazy,
Kills
right?
me.
It's like he's humble or something. I don't understand. Like the guy has some wicked talent.
He does. He really does.
So let me show you on the screen.
Look
here.
at the eyes on that woman. I mean, on that drawing on the bottom right corner. Damn.
Serious detail. Right now, I have the Indiegogo campaign up here right now. If you want to support this, just go to Indiegogo, Deadman's Tome, Deadocalypse comic. Okay. There's 2 tiers. We keep it simple. You can get a digital copy or the physical and digital copy. For $5, you get the digital.
I'll put
for
the
$10,
link in the
you
chat.
that'd be great. Let's do that. Yeah, man. This is gonna be the first comic out from Deadman's Tome, so it's a big deal for me. So I want to make sure this happens. Yeah.
Cool.
The other announcement is that it's August, so we have another August fundraiser coming up, and it's not just for me. See, I could be greedy and just keep the money. But no, I decided, you know what? SK contributes to the show. He helps out. He's taking time out of his busy schedule. So it's not just helping me. It's helping us. It's helping us.
That's a good one.
And before you ask me why is Becky not getting a cut, maybe she's a woman. I'm just joking. I'm joking. No, because she told me she didn't want it.
Oh my god!
I know. I wanted to walk right into that one.
No. That was really good. Shit for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotta
no.
have boobs, damn it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Also, we're giving out a $25 gift card tonight. All you have to do is be active in the chat. If you're in the chat right now, just participate in the chat. Ask questions. Hey, you can donate if you want to. If you donate to the Streamlabs link, it goes to the text-to-speech thing. So what you say will be read. The link is on the screen. Streamlabs.com/Mr. Deadman DT. Okay, with all this said, let's get into this. Mr. Ward, Blaze Ward, how's it going?
It's going good.
You
How are you
said
guys?
his name right again.
I did. Well, I get this name because I played World of Warcraft a lot, and it looks like a World of Warcraft name. Blaze Ward. I can understand that.
Absolutely.
Have you played WoW?
I'm scared.
Not WoW, but I played all sorts of other stuff.
Oh, like
Back
EverQuest
in the
probably.
day, Flames of War,
Oh,
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Yeah, I used to play that.
Or Warcraft, yeah, tabletop, not electronic.
Oh, okay.
Just Warcraft.
Okay. Like you mean like the strategy game Warcraft, like the that one?
Like paint the little miniatures and spend a lot of money and blow stuff up on a table with a bunch of your buddies on a Saturday afternoon.
Oh, damn! I did not know
Oh,
Warcraft
wow.
started off like that.
Cool.
Okay.
So
when I was
painted them?
Yep.
oh, so I mean like
Cool.
oh, you mean
Typically
like
expensive hobby.
wait, Warcraft started off like
Not
Warhammer? Is that what we're talking about?
Warhammer, excuse me, not Warcraft.
Okay,
Warhammer.
about to say I didn't think Warcraft started off had those origins, but yeah, Warhammer. Man, that stuff is expensive, but it's cool.
Yep.
It's very cool. Okay, all right, Blaze Ward. Who are you and what do you do?
I am a writer, novelist, publisher, editor, businessman, jack of all trades, Renaissance awesome dude. How about you?
I'm a guy who makes things happen sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah, man, that's a lot to go into. But yeah, so you're a writer, you're jack of all trades. You market books. Yeah. So, how long have you been writing?
I've been writing forever. My wife got me into writing kind of professionally about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I published my first title in 2014. And I write primarily science fiction, a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of urban fantasy that hasn't come out yet. And I retired from the day job 16 months ago, and I'm a full-time writer now, supporting myself.
Wait. We got to fact check this. SK, did you hear that? Becky, did you hear that?
Yeah.
He said
16 months.
He said he retired 16 months ago, and he's a full-time writer on his work.
Cool.
That
End of February 2018.
okay? Wait. Now the reason I ask like that, I think you might already know. There's a lot of writers, a lot of authors that listen to the show every now and then, and and they're struggling to make a living off their work. It's like some people even gave up on the idea. So, how?
Have you guys heard of the term pulp speed writing?
No.
I want
know
to
what it
pretend like I
means?
didn't have your wife on the show and say no.
Okay. Just checking. So pulp speed goes back to the old pulp writers from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And
All right.
in the modern incarnation, it means you're writing 1 million words a year, which is a little under 85,000 words a month. That's
Holy
pulp
shit.
speed 1. Pulp speed 2 is 100,000 words a month, or 1.2 million words a year. Pulp speed 3 is about 117,000 words a month, and that's 1.4 million words a year. And right now, I'm writing just about 120,000 words a month sustained for the last year.
Okay, so you're in Pulp Speed 1.
3.
Oh,
Three.
you're in Pulp Speed 3. Oh, man. You got to be...
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, all right. Is there a Pulp
He's in
Speed
third
4?
gear.
My goal this year is to write 20 novels,
Write 20 novels?
along with all the short fiction that I write for 20 novels. I'm working on number 14 right now.
Okay. Now, of course, the writers listening probably rolling their eyes, throwing their stuff. Like, how is it possible? What do you mean you could write 20 novels in a year? It takes me one whole year to write one novel. What would you say to them?
I don't do a lot of rewriting. It's clean draft. I cycle.
Mm-hmm.
I get up in the morning, I fix myself breakfast, coffee, check the news, read my web comics, goof off a little bit, and then I spend 4 hours writing, and I generate 4,000 words.
Cool. So you go right
And
into
that
it.
adds up.
You're not dicking around
Oh, yeah.
on Facebook or on Twitter. You're not doing your
No, I
Instagram
dick around
poses.
on Facebook.
Okay, but so you make time for your Instagram poses.
Yeah, I get up about 6:30, and I'm writing by 8.
Okay, cool. All right.
Right.
So it almost sounds like the trick is, if there is a trick, I know your wife was like, there's no magic handshake, but it almost sounds like it's actually working. It's getting up and going to the grind and actually writing, like just doing
Yeah, but
it.
it's not a grind. I get into arguments with people who tell me I have a job. I don't have a job. I got the greatest hobby in the world.
I like
A
that
lot of
mindset.
writers look at it as grind, and they hate it, and they get up in the morning and they're like, "Oh my God, I have to go write."
Then they might not
I
want
get
to
up
be
in the
writers.
morning
They might not want to
Yeah,
write
well,
then.
I get up in the morning and, oh my God, I get to go make shit up for a living, and
Yeah.
people are gonna pay me for it.
That's good. You know what? Those that wake up and go, man, I have to churn some words right now. Then maybe writing is not your thing. Like what? I think they're in it for the wrong reason. I think they in it because they expect a good paycheck or something.
And you can get a paycheck, but the trick is, if you're excited about what you're
I
writing,
love it.
then you're gonna write exciting
Fame.
stuff, and circle me back to money versus fame question. I got a really good chat with you on that one. But if you're excited to write, you'll be fun to write, and your readers will have fun reading it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm 100% indie, so I don't even bother submitting to magazines or sending stuff off for agents. Everything I'm doing is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Draft Digital, all of those places.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that I like about this. So you're 100% indie, and you're able to make a living off your work. Once again, people, I can't even speak right. If you want me to get real slurred, by the way, $5 shots thrown out there. $5 shots. I'd recommend using the Streamlabs link. You see there on the screen. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to get into is that many people that are doubtful will be asking, wait.
Uh-huh.
When this person says make a living off his work, is he actually making a living? Or I'm going to ask this, okay, the way I do. Is he on food stamps? Is he on like Is he in government assistance? What do you mean making a living? Like is he actually making a living? Like what's going on here? But it sounds like
my goal in 2019 is my target, and I'm halfway through the year, is about $75,000 to $80,000 this year writing income, and that's just writing income. That's not editing. That's not my publishing stuff. That's just the writing income.
$75,000, $80,000.
$1,000. Uh-huh.
Okay, that's more than. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's making a living, right? I mean, what do you think, SK?
I'm making a
What do you
really
think, Becky?
nice living.
You guys there?
Very good.
All right. Well, I
And
think
the key is multiple streams of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
I write a lot of novels, but they're in long series. And so somebody buys book one, they're going to walk through the whole series buying them all. And my read-through rate's usually above 70% for my two big series.
Mm-hmm.
So I hook you on book one. You're going all the way to book 9.
Oh, sweet. Okay. That's cool. All right. Well,
Hey, we have a question in the chat,
all right.
and that is, how much of your sales are made outside of Amazon?
Very little, because Kobo, for whatever reason, doesn't move science fiction, but that's science fiction. Kobo's primarily romance and mystery are something like 70% of all the titles they sell.
Okay.
iTunes keeps breaking their interface, so it makes it almost impossible to sell books. Barnes & Noble might survive and might not.
Right.
And my Amazon is 97, 98%. That's changing slowly because I'm getting into audio and I'm getting into translations. And I have discovered a new fan base in Germany over the last 3 months. And it's kind of weird.
Hey, but you found it,
I got
man.
a
Well, you know, Germans. What can
I got
you
a
say?
book one translated into German. They read that, and then they go buy the other 7 books in English.
Okay. And the Germans, man, they're very
Yeah.
dedicated. You get them hooked on something, they're
And
yeah.
it's science fiction, and it's a science fiction novella, and they're reading Perry Rodan, so they're used to this. You guys know Perry Rodan?
Perry Rodan. SK, his
No.
It's a science fiction series that came out in the middle of 1961. They have published a new novella, so 20,000-word book in the series every week for 58 years.
Jesus.
So the Germans, they've passed 2 billion books sold in the series. So the Germans are used to reading science fiction novellas, and that's just how they read it. So I took my science officer book. It's translated. Book 2 is book 2's done being translated, and it's almost ready to go up on Amazon.de.
Okay.
Probably September, October.
Okay.
We have a
But yeah.
question in the chat.
Oh yeah?
Uh-huh.
How much sales are made outside of Amazon?
I think-
I have published there.
We did that one.
We did that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was when I don't know. Skype kicked me out. Sorry.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
okay. That happens. Oh,
Yeah,
that
Amazon's
happens.
the bulk of my sales,
Okay.
but it's Amazon Global.
Amazon Global. Okay. Now, well, let's talk about your new book, because I understand you have a new book out about marketing. Is that right?
New book came out in spring.
Spring.
It's part of the Business for Breakfast series that I write with my wife. She and I don't write them together, but we'll pick topics, and one of us will write the other one. This one is Beginning Marketing for the Professional Publisher.
Okay.
And what it is everything I've learned about how to set yourself up as a writer, artist, entertainer so that you look like a professional. So how to set up your website and what things to include, what things to probably not include. Getting your own URL so that when people are looking for you, they're looking for you by name and they can find you. Business cards that have your contact information on them correctly. And just stuff like that. Most of the people that I've talked to have looked at me and said, okay, I'm doing about half of this, but I didn't know this other half.
Okay.
And so it's to try and get everybody up to, I look like a professional. And when the fans find you, they can find your books, they can buy your books, they can give you all the money, and you can make a living at it. Because for most people, that's the goal. And you got to make it easy for your fans, because once they find you, they'll hook on, and they'll become fans. I have friends who started off as fans who contact me with, hey, I've got a question about ... whatever. And those come to me, and I answer them, and they reply, and we have conversations. One of them is actually flying out to Seattle this weekend just to hang out with me at a barbecue.
Oh,
He's
that's pretty
coming
cool.
from South Georgia.
Wow.
But he and I have gotten to be really good friends over the last couple of years. He's a really neat guy. He's bringing his wife out. I've never gotten to meet her in the flesh.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, do you get this a lot with your
Speaking of this weekend in Seattle, happy Seafair.
Happy Seafair. You going to Fleet Week?
What are they doing for Fleet Week?
Well, yeah, what are they
Is
doing?
Is the fleet in town?
The fleet's in town. There's a couple of Canadian ships. There's a couple of U.S. ships. You can tour them. You could not pay me enough to get downtown to Seattle this weekend and deal with 600,000 of my closest friends.
No.
I'm an introvert. That makes me crazy.
I got some nice Blue Angels pictures today, though, from
Cool.
from Bellevue.
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
He did.
My son would love that. He's at like I think the age of 2, he's watching like Blue Angel videos. One, because it helped him go to sleep at for a nap time, whatever. Just the sound of the jets. But also because of jets, and they're awesome. Watch them take off and all that. Looks like we got a donation for 20. I'll go ahead and take a shot for that.
I'm gonna say, isn't that 4 shots? You said $5.
Well,
Yes, he did.
I did.
I'll split them with you, Jesse.
Okay. Okay. So I'll take 2, and SK will take 2. He doesn't have a
Well,
camera,
if you're getting
so
half the money, you all have to take half the shot.
Oh,
that's what's happening now.
no, don't make
Please, I think it's going to be me and you at the end of the show.
I'll be all right.
There you go. Okay.
So, okay, what was your process of writing this book? I mean, when, as someone who's making a living off your own work, I take it that you have an understanding of what an author should do to market their own book, right?
So this book, when I sat down, and it's a money versus fame sort of thing, but the question was, how do you want to present yourself? How do you want to look? So for a lot of these business for breakfast books, my goal is always someone who's not as far along the path. What do they need to know, or what would help them get there? Because what I tell people is, following all of my advice in this book will not make you rich or famous or successful. Mm-hmm. But if you don't understand all these things, and if you don't have answers for when I say do X and you say, no, that's stupid, okay, that might be. But if you don't understand what I'm trying to say, I'm pretty sure that you're not going to be successful. Because I had a friend of mine whose website was this complicatedly weird URL that didn't have his name in it. And when you went and looking for him by name to buy his books, you couldn't find him.
Oh. Did he do that because he was cheap and didn't want to pay for his own URL, or?
He had started a publishing company back in the gold rush days, 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
Oh. And had never separated himself. Yeah. Well, 2008, 2009, you put it up for sale on Amazon and 1,000 people buy it in a month. Doesn't happen that way anymore, but the gold rush days, you could make a stupid amount of money with ugly covers 10, 12 years ago. But he had never separated himself as an author brand from the company that was his publisher. And nobody knows who your publisher is, and they don't care. They know your author name. They know SK. They know me. They know Becky. They know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I try and do with the business for breakfast books. But I cheat because every spring and every fall, there are story bundles on writing craft. Chris Rush does the Write Stuff in the spring, and Kevin J. Anderson does a NaNoWriMo writing bundle in the fall. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so my wife and I sit down and say, okay, we need to, what are B for B topics that people need to know so that we could get into these bundles when Chris and Kevin call and say, hey, you got anything? I wrote a book on how to write at pulp speed because a lot of people don't understand that it's possible. I wrote a business book on starting your own science fiction magazine, and here are all the steps I did. Here's the pitch document that I actually sent to my people. Here's what we're doing. Here are the contracts that you can copy out of the book, or if it's not clean, send me an email and I'll send you the Word file document that is the contract so you can start your own science fiction magazine, because the tools today make it easy. I'm trying to get somebody to start a romance magazine because there's only one magazine out there right now. There are only 2 mystery magazines. There are about 25 or 30
There's only,
magazines.
wait. There's only one romance magazine out there? Becky, that sounds like...
Hard skip.
I mean, come on, Becky. Don't you want to read some romance?
No.
Come on.
No. No.
And in mystery, you've got Alfred Hitchcock and Ellery Queen.
Really?
And that's it. Like I said, science fiction, there's 25 or 30 of them.
Is there money in those? Because typically, if there's money in something, people move into that market, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah, right now, Boundary Shot Quarterly doesn't make much money, but what happens is all my authors are on royalty share, and those books are going to be up there forever. And so every month they're going to earn money. And the more issues they're in, the more money they're going to make over time. And when I can put one of these in a story bundle, which that happens occasionally, that's $1,000 comes in and gets split among 7 or 8 or 10 writers.
That's
just
cool.
that month.
Wow.
On top of the regular sales. And the purpose of the magazines is never to make money because they don't ever make money. The purpose is discoverability because my fans are going to buy it to read me. And hey, they're going to discover you and like you and go buy all your books. So I'm going to trade you all my fans for all your fans. Let's go.
That makes sense.
And so yeah, Boundary Shot Quarterly issue 7 just came out in July, and I'm working on issue 8 right now. And I've got stuff lined out through 5 years right now before I have to go figure out what my next themes are.
Oh, damn.
But it's working. And I only spend about 2 hours a quarter on the magazines. I don't read slush, and I've got a closed syndicate. So here's the theme. Here are 14 of my closest friends. Who's sending me stories this issue?
Hey, that's the way to do it. I mean, that way you don't have to read a bunch of,
fast,
like you said,
cheap,
slush.
and profitable.
Yeah, you don't have to go through a bunch of crap that you're probably not gonna accept anyway. And some people hearing this probably like, oh, so you have like a boys club and like people you rely on. I mean, people you rely on. You wouldn't sell a product, right?
They're not all boys.
Yeah, but they're not all boys.
They're not all boys. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 of my writers are female. Just because, girls can write science fiction too.
They can. And they can write hard
it's
too.
kind of amazing. Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Oh, let me tell you, one of my issues got a review. The guy read the first 2 stories, and they were these icky women writing science fiction.
Oh my God.
That was his review.
Oh, okay. That's going to go far.
Really?
That's going far.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
One
Boundary
star.
Shot 5.
1 star.
I
How
have a
can anyone
question.
with a pair of boobs write sci-fi? Everyone knows they can't do that. 1 star review.
It's impossible. They get in the way.
And then you remind them that Mary Shelley invented science fiction.
Mary Shelley was actually a dude dressed in drag. Don't you know your history?
Actually, I wouldn't put it that past Lord Byron,
Oh, shut up, Jesse.
He was the one in fact.
Okay.
Here's the question. I got a question though.
Yeah.
Sir.
No.
It has to do. So I recently had a discussion with someone who was suggesting to go the opposite direction from writing 1 million words a year, and not go and to go for quality over quantity.
Absolutely. I have a couple of friends of mine who write, we'll call it slow, they'll call it deliberate.
Yeah.
They write gorgeously pretty words that win all sorts of awards and are just lovely to read.
Yeah.
And they've got day jobs at the call center, and I don't. Because once somebody reads your one book, what are they going to do next? And if you're going to come out with a book next year, are they going to remember you?
Oh, probably not. Oh, not with the attention spans these days.
Exactly.
So just
I
pump
drop
it out.
at least 1 book on the 10th of every month. The last couple of months, I've been dropping 2 novels because I'm so far ahead on my schedule.
You might have something. You know what? You know what? I'm not gonna say you might have something to this. You have something here. Like, it's working for you. Obviously, you're making a living off your work. It's
hard to argue
every
with
day.
numbers.
You're putting out product all the time. And what's the rate? How often are you publishing material again?
I'm dropping 1 novel on the 10th of every month. Sometimes 2 novels.
You hear that, guys?
All 5 of the Star Dragon books have come out. So Star Dragon, the first of the Star Dragon books was already out last year. 2, 3, 4, and 5 have come out this summer, and then we're going to start book 1 of the Shadow of the Dominion's out, and then 2 through 6 are going to come out this fall. And then I've got 5 other series that I'm writing in. My goal is to always get 3 or 4 books in a series well ahead of time so I can get them edited, read. If they're going to get audio, get that done so that I can drop them month over month. at some point, I'm liable to have to start dropping 2 novels a month just because I'm writing 20 novels this year and there's only 12 months. So next year, I'll probably drop a crap ton of novels. But
look at that.
People buy them,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have to sell 1 million copies. I drop something on Amazon for $5.99. I'm going to make a little over $4 net.
Yeah.
And if I sell 30 books a day for a month, that turns real quick into a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's people buying 1 or 2 copies of everything every day.
Now, let me ask you, okay, we'll kind of go more into marketing real fast here. Does it help based on the genre? And the reason I asked that is because obviously Deadmanstome has a huge focus on horror, right? A heavy focus on horror. And horror may not be, I really don't think horror is the most profitable genre. I'll just put it out there. So does it help?
I would tend to agree with you that horror is going to be generally smaller. Mystery is kind of small, but mystery is a so-called premier genre, so people spend $10, $12, $15 for a book because they think they're smarter than everybody else. Romance, no, they do. They honestly do.
Yeah.
Romance at the other end of the spectrum, nobody will pay anything for it. You might get a novel for 99 cents.
Yeah.
But let me tell you,
What about
romance writers
erotica?
are fucking sharks. Erotica gets weird. I have a friend of mine who writes commission erotica.
Oh.
People will pay him $100 to write this particular type of story, this particular theme, this particular encounter. He can go out and sell them anyway, but they'll pay to do that, or they'll get themselves tuckerized in the most interesting and kinky ways.
Yeah. Wow.
But
I may or may not have experience out there with some erotica that just written in a day, real fast, just pumping out there.
I was going to say, writer or consumer?
Writer. I don't think I've read one. But just putting that stuff out there, like, real fast. Like, one time I was writing this stuff at work. Like, I wasn't paying any mind to it. And I put it out there. I really didn't care about the quality. To me, it was like, this looks like everything else. All right. And they're not doing bad. I mean, they're getting page reads every day. So there's that.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm not in KU, so I don't track page reads, but I'm also doing novels and selling those.
Hey,
it depends on what your platform is. Science fiction's really good on Amazon and really, really bad on Kobo.
Okay.
But last time I talked to the directors at Kobo a couple of years ago, the stats they showed me said science fiction represented 2.8% of their total sales the year before.
Okay.
Jeez.
Romance had been 43% of their sales, and mystery had been 28 or 30% of all their sales. So it's where you're at.
So write some
Science
romance.
fiction translates really well into other cultures.
No.
Okay. Now, any marketing, or I guess any advice or strategies for writers that would need help on that?
I don't know if you guys have heard the term of the Amazon Pulse. Yes, no?
No.
I've not heard that term before.
So nobody at Amazon is willing to confirm nor deny, but they will nod and smile appropriately when the topic comes up.
Okay.
What happens is that if you are publishing on the same day every 30 days, so for me, I drop something on the 10th of every month.
Okay.
There's one pulse that's at 30 days. There's a different pulse that runs if you drop something every 60 days. And there's a really weak pulse that if you drop every 90 days. What happens is, if you're publishing regularly, the robots on Amazon say, hey, Blaze Ward's got a new book out. And if you follow yourself on your Amazon author page, I get emails from Amazon that says, hey, Blaze Ward just put a new book up for pre-order. Hey, Blaze Ward's book just went live today. Hey, Blaze Ward had a new book 2 weeks ago. You didn't buy it. Did you miss it? Here's a link.
Yep.
So they're doing my advertising for me.
Wow.
And because I'm dropping something on a regular pulse, what they call the also bots and the advertising slots. You open up a book page on Amazon.
Yeah.
Your book is there. Every other book that you can see on that page, either a bot decided to put it in front of you or somebody's paying advertising money. And it's about half and half. But those, hey, you might be interested in this, because Blaze Ward's publishing something regularly, and they're novels in long science fiction series that get good reviews and good sales, the bots give me prominence. So my advice to people would be, even if you're not writing fast like I am, write short stories and put them on a theme, on a series or something. I've got a series in the background where I'm just writing little 5,000 and 8,000 word short stories with these characters, and it's just their events going forward in time, and eventually I'll pull them all together and publish them as a quote-unquote novel.
Okay.
Because it'll be 40, 50, 60,000 words, but you could drop those short stories every month, and if you're a writer, you better be able to write me a 4,000 to 5,000 word short story every month. Because if you can't even do that, we need to have a chat about your work ethic.
Yeah, right. What else are you doing? But I got a full-time job. I got kids. I got this, that.
And if you got kids, that's a different story. You got young ones, they're going to grow up too fast. Pay attention to them. About the time they turn 12, they're never going to want to talk to you again anyway, so you'll get all your time back.
That's right.
But pay attention to the little ones. Yeah. But I know a woman who had twins. I don't want to say developmentally disabled because it wasn't bad, but high maintenance. And she was carving out 15 minutes a day to write her novels. That woman's got the most amazing work ethic, because she would be the point where she could get both kids down, asleep, taking a nap, write a paragraph.
Oh.
And that was all she was going to get to write today.
Yeah.
And she's still chunking out novels. And she just amazes me.
That is good.
Because she's there. But yeah, it's the key with Amazon is just publish regularly. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be short. Just regular.
That's news to me. I wasn't aware of the Amazon Pulse. You're learning something.
I belong to what's called the Oregon Writers Network.
Okay.
Which is Christine Catherine Rush and Dean Wesley Smith. They used to be in Lincoln City, Oregon, which is why it was called the Oregon Writers Network. They've since moved to Vegas. They do a lot of classes through WMG Publishing. Dean is one of the most prolific writers ever. I think he's got 300 novels on Amazon because he used to write media tie-ins for Star Wars and Star Trek and X-Files back in the 90s. Dean writes faster than I do. Chris writes faster than both of us. She's normally chucking out 5,000 to 7,000 words a day every day. Because she's just that way.
Okay.
But the Oregon Writers Network, because it's a whole big group of really professional writers, we share a lot of information. So a lot of this comes up. And because Dean and Chris know everybody, Chris is the only person that I'm aware of who has won a Hugo as both an editor and a writer.
Okay.
She's that amazing.
Okay.
But they can talk to people at Amazon, and the people at Amazon will say, hey, were you aware? Or, hey, we're going to start this new program. You want to be part of the beta and help us test it? And usually there's non-disclosure agreements involved, so you can't ever say what you've done, but you can offer hints, and that's how we know about the pulses.
Okay.
Somebody said, hey, if you drop something every 30 days, the robots know that.
Dang. The robots know that.
Jeff Bezos wants to win. I know people have Amazon derangement syndrome, and I'm sorry for them, but Jeff Bezos is the wealthiest man on the goddamn planet because he wants to win.
That's true.
At the same time, hardly a day goes by that I don't read about somebody who's got a gripe about AMS ads or KU or something getting hosed up, or stuff that worked a month ago doesn't work anymore, and
stuff that worked a month ago and doesn't work now. They were probably trying to game the system. I got a guy I used to work with who went on to become a senior development manager at Amazon, and he and I go to lunch every once in a while, and when that topic comes up, he just looks at me and he smiles. because he can't say anything, but yeah, somebody got theirs.
Yeah.
If you're not trying to game the system, just publish. Really, just publish. Do some ads. You're never going to go broke on Amazon.
But my trick didn't work
unless you
anymore.
get stupid.
No,
trick doesn't
I'm
work
talking
anymore.
about people who are just trying to run ads for their books.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're book stuffing, KU is going to drop the hammer on you at some point.
Not that bullshit. Those people need to get
exactly
for that shit. But I'm talking about regular good people, and they're running their ads. They're trying to be effective with their ads, and all of a sudden things just fall apart when they Anyway, there's always stuff.
Active ads.
On.
Oh yeah, active ads. I've never yet run a successful active ad. Actually, I've run one, and it was a hideously expensive mistake. What I run are what I call passive ads.
Passive ads.
What is that?
Passive ads. You go in, and it's not the lock screen. It's the sponsored product, I think is the right term.
Right.
They've changed it on me.
Okay.
You go in, you say, okay, I'm going to run an ad. I'm going to select my book. I'm going to let Amazon pick the keywords and the other things, so I'm not going to try any of that. I'm going to set a low buy, so I don't think I have anything running more than $8 max spend a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'll tell you, for this genre, for this book, here's the expected range, so maybe 26 to 54 cents is your bid. Because I'm setting it low, like $8, $10 max daily, I'll come in at the high end of that. So if it's 26 to 54, I might come in at 46 or 48 cents on a bid. And then you have 150 characters at the bottom to write some really good ad copy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit that and I walk away. And they just run in the background. I'm not trying to do A/B. I'm not trying to do a garden gnome on my sales. I checked it yesterday because I was having a chat with some friends of mine down in Atlanta. To date, I have spent a little over $500 on Amazon, and my sales are a little over $1,200, and that's going back to October of last year. That's it.
Okay.
But again, the robots know that I'm advertising, and suddenly I'm getting more prominence that I cannot attribute to anything because the book I'm advertising wasn't the book that started selling, but other books start selling suddenly, magically.
Any other advice?
Because Amazon wants to reward you.
Any other tips or advice you want to give for advertising?
That's a whole series of books. Good cover copy blurbs, because when somebody's on Amazon, start with a good cover that communicates your genre. I write science fiction, so the running joke is slap a spaceship on it.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I see that on the covers.
Spaceship.
I can see that on your covers. There's a spaceship there, but it works. Sorry.
Learn to write ad copy.
Ad copy. Okay.
There's a book by Joseph Sugarman. Joseph Sugarman pretty much invented modern advertising, and he was selling CB magazines or CB radios in the back of print magazines in the late 60s.
Okay.
But he talks in his book what are the things you need to do to write effective ad copy.
Effective ad copy.
Writing your blurb.
We had a guy on the show.
Sorry, go ahead.
What is? Can you give us an example of an effective ad copy? Or horror related?
You never, not horror, but if you want to send me something, I can work on it. No version of be, so is, and, are, nothing. Everything is present tense. Everything is breathless, and everything you describe happens in chapter 1 of the novel or on page 1 or 2 of the short story.
Okay.
What I tell people is, if your explanation of the plot includes the word and, you've already failed. If you're trying to say this happens and then that happens, nope. Tell me what happens in chapter 1. If you go look at some of my blurbs, Dean taught me how to write really good ad copy.
So do you have to make it like clickbaity? Like, you won't believe what happens to whatever.
No, it helps. The goal is, I got a pretty cover, and you've looked at my cover and said, ooh, that's pretty. What's it about? And your head rotates to the right, and you look at what that first paragraph is.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Keller could win the war if they would just let her. Oh, shit, what's that about?
Yeah, you got me hooked. What's that about? What war? What war are we talking about? Oh, man. patriarchy?
It's a 9. It's a grand military epic space opera.
Yeah.
That book 9 is coming out in December, and that will be 14 titles, including little spin-off novellas in the middle.
I like that.
It's over 1 million words of grand epic. We're fighting for the future of humanity, the galaxy, and civilization. And it's really fun.
One thing I want to ask you, because you churn out so much material, like, is there ever a time or a moment where you're like, man, I feel like I've written this before?
Oh, I don't write the same thing twice. For me, I have more ideas. I will die before I get to the bottom of the list of the stuff I want to write right now. When I was writing the Star Dragon books, so the 5 Star Dragon books are written as light 50s serial science fiction pulp.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine some writer is sitting in 1950 trying to envision the future. And so it's really light, it's pulpy.
Yeah.
There's one point where the main character lands on this alien world and he's trying to figure out how the faucet works because it's touchless.
Huh.
That's nothing to us, but science fiction in the 50s, like, how does that work? At the same time I'm writing those, I'm literally going back and forth, 1 Star Dragon and then over to Shadow of the Dominion, which are space adventure, gritty, kind of dark, kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going, my mood goes back and forth book between book. Right now, at this moment, I'm writing something that takes place in 1938 in Egypt, and it feels a lot like Raiders of the Lost Ark, except there's no magic. It's all science fiction because you've met the alien, but none of the other characters have. And it's going to turn into this diesel punk, pulpy kind of action-adventure hero series.
Okay.
And I've got Star Tribes. I've got 2 of those done, and I'm writing the 3rd one soon.
I like the name already. The name of the series, Star Tribes. That sounds cool. Okay, so
book 1 is Winter. Okay,
I was going to ask definitely more on marketing here. What about some common marketing myths? Or let me just say one, for example, that the publisher will do everything for you. That once you submit to a publisher, you got it set.
Sorry.
I like his reaction. That was great.
50 years ago, it was possible that the publishers could do something to make you look good. But that's 50 years ago. These days, the trad pub, the New York, the Big 5, are utterly clueless. If you look at sales, and I love, there's a great chart data guy did about a year ago, where sales in science fiction starting in about 2005 are on this upward slope until about 2011, and then it starts to plummet. And this is traditional New York publishing, and it's fallen off a cliff for them. What's happened is the chart kept going up, but it's all the indies like me. So yeah, maybe a publisher can do something for you, because if you can't afford to do good covers, and learning how to do good covers is as much art as science, doing good ad copy, but that's something you can learn, formatting, but the tools are cheap. The best that maybe TradPub can give you is some sort of an advertising budget, but they really, if they'd known what they were doing, they wouldn't all be in the circle and the drain and starting to go down right now. But it's a case of most writers want to chuck their novel over the transom and be done with it and let somebody else handle all that stuff.
Absolutely true.
That is true.
Absolutely
my wife
true.
and I are publishers, and that we look around trying to find other publishers to talk business with, because most writers don't want to learn the business side of things. Chris and Dean, Kevin Anderson and Rebecca Mesta, and us are really about the only people that we know that are dedicated to the publishing business. So yeah, you could do that path, but you're never going to get your copyrights back, and you're never going to quit the day job. You're going to be working at a call center for the rest of your life.
And see, man, there's a lot of writers, when they listen to it, there's a lot of people that have that myth that traditional, like, if you get with one of them, you have it set, you have it made, you're going to be making that Stephen King money. Is that true?
And 40 years ago, it might have happened, but these days, if you're going to get an advance and you're a new author, you're probably going to get $2,000 to $5,000 per year who gets a 7-figure deal because that person struck lightning. The funny part is they don't always turn into Susan Collins or J.K. Rowling or any of those people.
Yeah.
But there's contracts out there. But most contracts, you're going to get a $10,000 advance. And you're going to have to earn out against that. And those people have a moral hazard of not necessarily sharing the right numbers with you, so they're never going to pay you.
No.
You're going to get 10 cents a sale. And if you got a $10,000 advance, figure you got $20,000 in sales before you're going to start getting royalties.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So the economics do not favor you, but, and this is something Becky said earlier that I wanted to circle back to. The question that I asked new writers, do you want to be famous or rich? Because if you want to be famous, if you want to be able to walk into Barnes & Noble and see your name on a spine, you will follow an entirely different career path from me. And I try and make that clear in my business books. I don't want to be famous. I want to be rich. I always tell people I want to be Bernie Taupin when I grow up. And until Rocket Man came out, nobody knew who Bernie Taupin was.
But in a way, you
and
kind of
nobody
are
knows who he
famous,
looks
though. Like people know you. I mean, your fans know you, right? And
my fans know me, but Bernie Taupin could walk in and sit down next to you at the bar, and you'd have no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And yet the man has written more. He has made more music, more money from songwriting than anybody. All of Elton John.
Yeah.
This came up the other day. Elton John had 7 #1 albums between 1972 and 1975. And Bernie wrote every song on them.
That's pretty good.
Yep. That's not bad at all.
Money. I don't think you cannot, as far as I know, well, that's not true. There are 2 bookstores that you might be able to walk into and find my book in paper on a shelf. And they're both of the Powells, one in Beaverton and one downtown in Oregon. And that's it. That's the only place on this planet that I'm aware of that people have found my paper. I don't sell paper.
So how do you do your paperback, your print copies? Do you use Ingram or do you use
I'm in
Amazon?
I'm in the Ingram's catalog, and I'm on Amazon both.
Okay.
But in 2018, and I had to do this for the marketing book, I sold 98 paper copies total. I had 550 audio sales.
Okay.
And 17,000 ebooks.
So
what's the point of
the
paperback?
print's kind of souvenir copies. I mean,
yes,
that's kind of right. You know, people want signed copies and stuff.
Yeah, I've got some fans that I know by paper. Tom and Ben and one other guy that I actually know that get paper because Tom complains that my prices are too expensive. And I keep reminding him that I cannot do a paper book under $12.99 through Ingram Spark. Just that's the bottom of my price.
Yeah.
So instead of him buying the whole Star Dragon series, what we're going to do is we're literally going to put all 5 Star Dragon books together as an omnibus special edition this Christmas from like November 1st to January 15th. You can go buy the paper, and it's going to be like $25 or $29. But that's better than $14.99 for 5 copies.
Yeah,
and that's just because Tom wanted the paper, and it's 15 minutes work on my part to do that, so he could get the paper.
You know what? I think that helps answer this next question.
But he's a fan.
Infrafan in the chat asks, question: if the money stopped coming in, but your readers stayed, would you still write?
Absolutely, but I'd have to go back and get a real job. I live in Seattle, and before I left the day job, I was a database architect. So I was making pretty damn good money in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
My mortgage is paid off. I live out on a farm, so I'm not paying a mortgage. I just got taxes. I live fairly small, so I could probably survive just getting a job at the store.
Yeah.
But I'd never stop writing. I started writing.
Because you like what you do. You love what you do, actually.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I've got 7 volumes of poetry that nobody's ever read. Because I started writing those in 1983.
They just pretend.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, Becky,
Poems.
what was it again, Becky?
Poems.
Poems. Yeah, Becky, if you've got the internet in front of you, go look up a title called The Forestal under my stuff. It is 165 poems in a grand, dark, epic fantasy ring. And it's my biggest selling title in Japan. I have no fucking clue why
Is it
or
depressing?
how.
Is it depressing?
It has its depression. I was in a really dark place when I wrote it, but yeah, I got like I said,
I wanted.
Have they found the book in that suicide forest in Japan?
I was going to ask, is this like linked to
no.
that?
You're not going to.
Now, Becky, if you would like a copy, if you would like an electronic copy, Becky, send me a note and I'll send you one.
That is
you want
interesting.
paper, you have to buy your own because it's like $20.
But
I don't care.
Okay, so how does that feel?
One or both.
How does that feel when a certain I guess project, certain book, what have you, gets real popular, but like in a place you didn't expect, like Japan or Germany? Like, how does it make you feel?
It just boggles my mind, but then I giggle and do cartwheels because people are paying me money to make shit up. I got the greatest hobby in the world. I argue with a friend of mine who says, you should treat it like a job. No, I shouldn't. I hated my job.
Having heard all this so far, I could say this.
Oh, come on. Database architect in Seattle? That's a dream job, man.
Right?
No. Legal services company handling class action lawsuit administration.
Oh, Jesus.
So everybody I was dealing with was a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
And I wasn't allowed to beat them.
Yeah, lawyers are the absolute worst. Look, after hearing all this, Mr. Ward, like you have passion in what you do. You love what you do. You enjoy it. You deserve this. You didn't get this because it was given to you. You worked for it and you won it. And
I did, but there's also a huge factor of luck that you cannot play down.
True, but
when I published
but the luck and skill.
When I published The Science Officer, it was going. I was selling 2 or 3 copies a day, and then one day, the Amazon robots pointed their magic wand at me and said, "I'm going to make you famous."
How?
And for about 3 months, I was moving 100 copies of Science Officer a day.
What happened?
I was on a plane flying from Florida back to Seattle, and the woman next to me says, "What do you do?" "I'm a writer." "Oh, what do you write?" And I pull out my business card that's got my cover, and I say, "I write science fiction." "Oh, my husband likes science fiction." She turns the guy across the aisle and hands him one of my cards that it's a Science Officer. So it's the cover on the front and the blurb on the back and the link. And he looks at it and says, "I've got this book." I'm like, "What?" You can do everything right.
Is that?
You can do everything right. You can publish, you can market, you can have all this stuff. There's still luck.
Well,
I write in a field that rewards the luck rewards the hard work, but there was luck to it. I'm not going to say I deserved this.
Well,
I got lucky a couple of times, and that got me a fan base.
I mean,
worked my ass off, but I know a lot of people work their ass off.
I mean, you can't
and
really
they still got day jobs.
You can't teach luck, but what are some other things?
You can.
But what are some things you can?
Good covers, good blurbs.
Good covers, good blurbs. Anything else? Any other tips
good
or
covers,
strategies?
Good blurbs.
Okay. What about like when it comes to like let's say sharing your book out, like say on like social media on Facebook and Twitter, stuff like that? Like any strategies there?
If you ever see my Facebook feed, it's about half silly, funny memes that I share from other people because the shit makes me giggle, and if it makes me giggle, it's going to make you giggle. And the other half are all the writers and artists that I know have said, "Hey, I've got a new book, I've got a new album, I've got a show coming up," and I'm sharing that. because all of my Facebook people are going to look at that and go, "Oh, what's this?"
So
and some percentage of them are going to buy that.
Okay.
And they do that for me.
That's cool. So you actually share other people's stuff. That goes a long way.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like my Facebook page.
I don't know that I've seen yours.
I haven't seen Becky's.
Mine is shut up, Jesse. Mine.
It has like poems on it. You got poems.
But yeah.
And it's a lot of.
Are you there? Oh, it just cut out.
Okay, I'm hearing you. I'm not hearing her. She's
yeah,
she's
cutting out.
Oh,
I don't know what's going on.
I am?
Yeah, you kind of cutting in and out. I'm not sure what's going on, Becky. We didn't pray to baby
me
Cthulhu.
On mute.
I'm not. I swear. I swear.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Any other common marketing myths that you might know of that we might want to debunk?
Right now, the thing that readers want is long series, because television used to be Monster of the Week, Mission of the Week, and now it's turned into these long narratives. So the readers don't want to read a one-and-done novel. And they're kind of iffy on trilogies. What they want to do is get into a series that they know is going to run 6 or 8 or 10 books, because they think of these characters as their friends.
Yeah.
And they want to go hang out with their friends.
Yeah.
And so I know people, and the other problem, and New York shot themselves in the head on this one. Someone would publish a book 1 of what was obviously supposed to be a trilogy, but they didn't get their sales in the first week. And in the old days, the book came out on Tuesday, and you had to have a certain number of sales by the following Monday, or you didn't get a second contract. So fans would read this book 1 going, "Oh my God, what happens next?" And there was never a book 2.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people won't touch a new series until there are 3 or 4 books out. Or they know there are going to be 3 or 4 books out. George R.R. Martin has pissed off a lot of people. He's never going to finish that series.
No.
Nah.
No, not at all.
So fans want to read
too much
long
money.
series.
He's got no motivation.
Yeah.
No, there's a nasty secret. And I was doing some research for a future business book. The contracts that most people were getting in the 80s included a clause where you granted the license to your work to the publisher. What that meant was the publisher could then sign a deal to develop a movie or a TV series or a radio drama or a stage play, and the writer didn't get a goddamn cent, and George did not get a cent. When the TV series happened, what they did was made him an executive producer, because executive producers get a certain number of points. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten a damn penny from the show.
Wow.
All he would have gotten was book sales.
Is that
That's shitty.
does that explain why Stephen King movies kind of suck too? Like, because like he doesn't really get.
Yeah.
He's not really involved much, is he?
He's not.
Yeah.
No. Once somebody, so when you sign the contract, and what I was doing was looking at old contracts to see when the language became permanent, where it just became part of the boilerplate. You're signing away your license, and that license you have. So what's happening is Random House Penguin, we call it the Randy Penguin, is sitting on this huge freaking collection of books that could be turned into movies. And if you've got a New York deal, chances are, unless you got a really good attorney, you aren't going to get paid for it.
Man,
people that had good attorneys in those days reserved rights or got first refusals.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that. But circling back, write a series.
Okay.
I write science fiction, so I write them in
write
series, and I write them. My goal is 5 or 8 books, because I can tell a really long and complicated story, and I can end it.
Okay.
Because I know people who are writing book 14 or book 18 in a series, and they've gotten bored.
Oh man, have you had any luck with anthologies?
Yes and no. Technically, Boundary Shot Quarterly is an anthology. It's a closed anthology, so I've got 15 people giving me stories on a theme.
Yeah.
But that's the sharing thing. Anthologies don't really make you money so much as make you fans, and the fans will give you money later.
Right.
Everybody does anthologies. Everybody does the trade magazines, FNSF, Asimov, Heart's Kiss, because people begin to know your name, and they go, oh, what else has this person written? Like, oh, she's got this and this and this. Okay, I'll buy those.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a halo from them.
Yeah.
As I said,
That's, in
Boundary
Deadman's
Shock
Tome, we see a little bit of
isn't a-
that. Like, the anthologies don't really sell very well. It's just, but we have a small following. I feel, you know, like the people in the chat, I know who they are. The people who watch, I know who they are. You know, I kind of like that though.
The tools for doing a royalty share anthology, and the people that I do this to are called BundleRabbit.com.
BundleRabbit.
Mm-hmm.
I put up a collaborative project. Yeah, and I say, okay, here are the 8 people in my project.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the cut. And what happens is, because it's my anthology, my publishing house takes 25% off the top.
Okay.
And then I split the other 75% evenly with everybody who's in. Unless you do me flash fiction, in which case you'll get a half share and everybody else will get a whole share. But what happens there is the publishing house gets a certain amount of money, and then everybody who's got a story gets a certain amount of money. And every dollar that comes in the door, you as the writer are going to get something.
Wait,
and as long as the...
Oh, in BundleRabbit, like when you use that service, does it go everywhere? Like does it go on on Kindle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It goes up on it. He puts it up on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Drafted Digital, iTunes, and print. He doesn't do Ingram Sparks, but he does KDP print through Amazon.
I got to check this out.
And
I think for one of my next projects, I'm going to have to try to do BundleRabbit. Probably not.
Send me Becky.
Yes, sir.
Becky, send me a link, because my Business for Breakfast Volume 9 is how to start your own magazine. And it's got all the details. It's got all the notes. I'll send you guys a copy of it that you can read this, because it's literally, I wrote it as I was creating Boundary Shock.
Oh,
so here's the pitch document I sent to everybody. Here's the contracts they signed with me. Here's everything I'm doing, because I want more people to understand how this works, because the tools for starting your own, basically, fanzine, the cost is really low. The profitability is really low, but I've got 7 issues of Boundary Shock out there, and they're selling copies every month. 10, 12, 15, 20 copies each. Them nickels add up, because they're going to be out there forever. Yeah. Most anthologies go broke because Jesse has to put up $1,000 to pay authors, or $5,000 to pay authors, and then he has to work his ass off for the rest of time to earn that $5,000 back.
Right.
If you're getting royalty share on a copy of Boundary Shock, then it's in your interest to hustle the damn magazine for me. Tell all your friends, hey, I'm in issue 7. Go buy it.
Yeah. Right.
Because you're going to keep getting money, and I'm going to keep getting a share, and hey, we're going to share fans.
Mm-hmm.
Boundary Shock's never going to make me rich. It's going to make me fans, and the fans will make me rich.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, so definitely
you guys can start a horror magazine really easy.
BundleRabbit. All right.
BundleRabbit.com. Buddy of mine is actually the owner-developer behind it, and I work as his QA department occasionally. And in the old days, I was a technical product manager in software, so I really a good idea on, okay, what does it need? Are you guys there, or did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
No, we're here.
Okay.
How do you mean
I
by?
sent you a link too, Jesse.
I'm sorry?
I heard it beep 4 times.
Oh, I didn't hear
wasn't
any beep.
me.
I didn't hear
That
any
must
beep.
have been
Yeah,
you.
okay.
It wasn't me.
Maybe it was, I don't know. Can't make any comments. I was going to make a joke, but my lawyer's telling me don't say that joke. NSA could be listening.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. Well,
It's the detonation.
what about this?
button.
What about this common myth? I hear it a lot. I hear about this a lot from other horror publishers and stuff. That a lot of the readers for horror, maybe just really just for horror, I don't know, but a lot of the readers are actually writers. Is that true?
I really couldn't tell you on that, only because I don't read horror. I got to tell you, my nightmares are bad enough, stone cold sober. I don't drink. I don't do bad drugs, and that'd be even worse. I can't read horror. I'd never sleep again.
You don't do bad drugs. What are good drugs?
Caffeine.
We don't ask that.
This
don't
Deadman's
ask
Tome.
that.
I
Caffeine's about as
ask
bad
all
as
the
a-
good questions.
Yeah.
You walked right into that
most
one.
readers probably would be pretty good writers if they wanted to.
Yeah.
The one thing I always tell people, I can't want this more than you do.
Okay. My other question.
I can help. I can answer questions, but I can't want this more than you do. Yeah, go ahead.
Another common myth when it comes to readership is that it's mostly cat ladies, like middle-aged cat ladies. Is that true?
No, that's cozy mysteries and romance.
Okay. So for some reason,
horror tends to be all over the damn map, as far as I know. I got several people who write horror that I know, and they're middle-aged white guys.
Yeah.
John Linwood Grant, Bruno Lombardi come to mind immediately.
Yes.
Stephen
King is not a cat lady, last time I checked.
No, he's not a cat lady. But cat ladies do like Stephen King.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of that is just the escapism.
Mm-hmm.
You get to drop into a whole nother world. So for some people, it's horror. For some people, it's cozy mystery. For some people, it's sweet and or spicy romance.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, it's spaceships blowing shit up.
I like that.
Yay!
Now, are there certain tools that you use to help you with your marketing?
Marketing? Amazon does most of my heavy lifting for me. The rest of it's the passive stuff. Like I said, good covers. And by good covers, it's not just the right piece of art. It's someone looks at the piece of art that I have not selected this. I've picked out 40 pieces of art and handed them to my wife because those 40 communicated to me on the right theme, and she goes through them and eliminates most of them and says, "Oh, yeah, that'll work."
Okay.
But you look at my cover.
At least you picked one.
She does all my covers. Well, most of the time I can find a good one, but then she'll do false colors and play with the gamma.
Mm-hmm.
In science fiction, the running joke that she and I looked at the other day, most modern science fiction is either really black and white, shades of gray for the covers, or brown.
Yep.
Mm.
And you look at Oberon, it's purple and lime green. It stands out and gets your attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you look at that and you go, "Ooh, what's that?"
Yeah,
And as soon as you say, "What's that?" I own you.
Your wife had some comments, had some very nice comments about horror. That most of the books you can't even read. Like the covers are like, what is that? All you have to do is make a cover that's readable. It's like, yeah, well, we have that.
Actually,
what I would tell you is get rid of those goddamn script fonts.
Thank you.
And those German heavy metal, Norwegian death metal fonts that are unreadable.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
but
I
you know,
hate them.
I can't tell what it says, but I'm sure it says something pretty cool, right?
No.
But that's the point. Are you an early 80s metal band?
I want to be.
You want your fan to be able to look at this and go, "Ooh, new book by Jesse, and here's the title, and it's book 3 in this new series." And you don't want them to have to try and translate letter by letter to figure out because you've used some weird-ass gothic speed metal font that nobody can read.
Yeah, I agree.
People aren't going to put in the time to figure out what the words are.
You know, it's
They're
even worse
just
than
not
that,
going to
though.
do it.
I don't know if it's worse than that, but people who literally scribble, the name of the book using like Comic Sans and MS Paint. Like, that's horrible. I've seen a cover like that before by a publisher, and it's like this is like the worst. You're not even trying.
Unless it's a mystery, and what they're doing is a ransom letter. I've seen those done very effectively.
No, it's not a ransom letter.
But yeah,
No, but it sure does look like one.
yeah, a friend of mine sent me a link this week to this exciting new thing happening in his life, and I could not figure out what the hell it was. Apparently, Tool is releasing a new album.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even after he told me what the name of the band and the name of the album was, I could not read the letters because it was upside down, backwards, and something else.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't care. You've already lost me. I have to be a diehard fan in order to care. The casual fan, you're not going to get. Good covers with clean titles are for the casual fans who go, "Ooh, what's that?"
Exactly. If it takes them more than 5 seconds to look at it and go, you're done.
it's not even 5 seconds. You have a half
Right.
second to catch their eye with the cover.
Right.
And they will process the entire cover, and that includes your name and your name color, the title and the font and the color, and the picture.
Mhm.
And in that half second, their brain will say yes or no.
Yes.
And
sir.
everything after that is them trying to talk themselves out of buying the book.
Mm.
They go, oh, what's that? And they look at it, and they blow it up to full size and go, ooh, that's cool. What's it about? And then they look and they read the blurb. Ooh, that's cool. What's it about? And they open it up and they read the first 10%, and then they buy it.
Mhm.
And every single one of those steps, you're going to lose a percentage of people.
Okay. Now,
Depending on your genre, they can tell you the numbers.
okay, are there any tools or anything to help you out when it comes to like putting up the listing, like the book listing, especially when it comes to like keywords and things like that?
Yes and no. Understand that Amazon is forever playing whack-a-mole with people forever trying to game their system.
Mm-hmm.
The key with Amazon, and Amazon's where I make most of my sales, because while Kobo has the easiest interface in the universe, they are not even a rounding error on my sales. But Amazon, pick your big category. For me, science fiction.
Science fiction. Okay.
Yep. And then science fiction general, and then fantasy and science fiction general. And then with your keywords, get yourself slotted down into, so for me, example, galactic, empire, first contact, space opera, military, space war, space marine. Those get you into all the sub categories.
Okay. Now,
And you don't have to be as tight on those.
Now, did you have to do any? So, what sort of research did you have to do on those keywords, though? Like, how did you know that those keywords are the ones to use? Is it because based on the book?
Amazon will actually tell you. It's based on the book, but Amazon will tell you, hey, these are the keywords. Here's an actual list. I don't have the URL. I can never find it. I have to go dig it up. But there's an actual URL that says, here are the keywords you can use.
Mm-hmm.
With the other day, we discovered a thing accidentally because what I'd written had a very Star Wars-esque feel to it.
Yeah.
So we tried to use Star Wars as one of the keywords, and that's forbidden. They came back with and said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't use like specific brands. You can't even use author names, stuff like that. They frown about that.
No, you can. You can use author names. Oh, yeah. Romance uses author names all the time. Those are your also bots. You look at all the other people who are writing stuff like you, and you say, oh, if you liked Joe Blow,
maybe
you put a keyword at Joe Blow in.
Maybe
people looking for Joe Blow might see your book.
Because one, I put in like Stephen King because I was like, if you like Stephen King, you like this. But I'll put Stephen King in the keyword, and it rejected it. It was like, no, we can't use Stephen King. It's like, oh, okay.
Stephen King's big, but if you look up, yeah, probably he's that big. There's probably about 100 people you can't do that with.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling, Susan Collins, the crazy lady who wrote the Twilight books.
Me.
You.
SK wrote the Twilight books.
SK is the most dangerous person out there.
Yeah.
SK's full of crap.
He actually wrote the 50 Shades of Grey.
There you go.
No, he would not.
No,
that. Come on.
It's a common mistake. I came in at 49 Shades of Grey, and and it just the timing was wrong.
I see.
The other thing about your books, depending on the genre that you're in, you're going to have to redo your covers somewhere between 2 and 5 years.
Right.
Every
Just
2 to 5
because-
years. Okay.
Yeah, romance changes every 2 years.
But script
For a
font
couple of
stays.
years, it'll be hunks with 6-packs, and then it'll be 2 couples on a beach walking away, and all the covers will look like that for a while, and then they'll be holding hands and touching, and it just every 2 years.
And now
Science
they're
fiction,
cucking.
it's about every 5. Yeah.
And now
So,
someone's
if you
getting
walk
cucked
through
in
the
the corner.
bookstore and look at all the romance books, my wife and I do this. Anytime we walk into a bookstore, you go look at what the big selling books are coming out of New York, because New York tries to set those trends.
Okay.
Romance follows a particular pattern. Mystery follows a particular pattern. Crime mystery.
Are they
Fantasy.
Last time I looked at romance, not that I look at it all the time or anything, or at all, but they still look like big beef hunky dudes of like a wolf. There's always like a wolf on the cover now. Like, what is that? Why?
Paranormal romance, yeah, absolutely. Paranormal romance is huge right now, but that category will be gone in about 2 years.
So so I need to work on this book now. Then I need to work my Beast Man erotica now, written under the pen name Becky. Absolutely, the real Becky from the Deadmanstome podcast.
I'm gonna kick you.
Sorry. Okay.
Nobody would believe that.
You know, I make these jokes, and earlier you said something about professionalism. What does that mean, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different opinions about what it means to be a professional.
So I'll use a story going back to when I was setting up Boundary Shock, because I had this really cool idea, and I knew the tools existed, but I was going to do a royalty share magazine, and a lot of people wouldn't be interested because they only want to get paid up front.
Mm-hmm.
I would reach out to people that I knew, and I started with the Oregon Writers Network folks, OWN, and they know me, I know them. I'd say, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to do a magazine. Are you interested in hearing more details? The professionals would come back with, no, I'm sorry, royalty share doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm. Or, I'd love to, but I don't have any time this year. Can we talk next year?
Okay.
The people that are junior varsity never replied to the email.
Okay.
One woman sent me a reply 6 months later as if nothing had happened. She started up her email. So she got the pitch document in July, and in December she sent me a note that, hey, this sounds really interesting. I'd like to talk more about this, and this. As opposed to, oh my God, something happened. I'm sorry, I lost 6 months. I couldn't get back to you. I'm ready to talk now. Are you still available?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Wow.
When you're doing an anthology, the editor says, I need your shit on this day.
Yeah.
That is usually not a hard, fast drop dead. That's I'm expecting it on the 1st, or I'm expecting an email from you saying, I'm working on it, but my life just fell apart because my wife's been in the hospital. Can I have until the 7th? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And tell her I said hi.
Letting me know. Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know. Acting like a professional.
Okay.
Or, hey, I've got some edits for your story because this didn't quite work with theme. Let me know if that works for you.
So,
or
if I'm following this right, it sounds like professionalism is just communicating, timely, being...
It's common courtesy. I mean, it's...
You would think. Right?
You wouldn't want someone to leave you in the dark about whatever it was that, you were dealing with them about. You don't do that to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about the level monster.
Level monster.
Y'all play computer games, right?
Yeah.
So you're fighting and you're going and you get to the big bad level monster at the end and you have to defeat him to go to the next level.
Yeah, I did that today on a game I played.
I am always amazed at the number of writers that I try to work with who treat hitting the reply button as if they must first defeat the level monster. It's become a running joke with a small group of my friends. Hey, did you ever hear from Joe? Level monster got him. Joe's never replied to me. And at a certain point, I'm going to stop sending Joe email.
Right.
I'm just going to write him off and say, this man is unprofessional, he's unreliable. He could be the greatest writer of all time, but I'm not going to put up with his shit.
Yeah.
Because he won't communicate. He won't hit deadlines, he won't hit theme, and he won't communicate with me. Screw that. There are 10,000 other writers out there who probably be really excited for the opportunity.
Yep.
Let's work. So, professionalism among writers means one thing. Professionalism with your fans means have a website that if they're searching for your name, they find you. Blazeward.com. Real hard to find me. Mm-hmm. There's a link to books, and I keep that up to date, and here are all my covers, and every one of those is an active link. You click on it, and it bounces you over to my publisher page that has the big cover, the big blurb, and here are all the buttons if you want to go buy it from Amazon, iTunes, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, D2D. Hey, here's the link to the audiobook. Fan doesn't have to do anything. They're in, they find the book, they click, they're out. Oh, hey, we bought the book. Great. They don't have to do any digging. And
Hey,
I
look
don't
at
have
that.
any crappy flash on the front page.
I went to your website. It was easy to find. Literally, Blaze Ward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the whole point. Make it look clean.
Make it look
Your
clean.
fans want to give you
Simple.
money. Give them the fewest number of steps to handing you money.
Yeah.
Over on the, I think it's on the
reduce the
right-hand
friction.
side. Yeah, over on the right-hand side, there's I think it's a PayPal button where people can leave me a tip jar. I got a guy every once in a while sends me $5 coffee money because he liked the book he just read.
I think
Okay.
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
And it is. He's a really cool dude. I email with him occasionally. He's like, "Oh, I just love the book. Here, have another $5. You didn't charge me enough for it."
Aw.
Oh, okay.
You know, I feel that way a lot when I read some books. So I'm like,
Yeah.
there's no way. I know, I mean, because, you know, I know how much you all make or don't make off your books, and it's not near enough for what you put into them. But, yeah, I've done the same thing with authors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've apparently touched this person. And
Oh, do you remember
and-
that?
Oh, like a Vic Mignogna way? Wait. Is this going to come back to haunt you?
No,
Okay.
no. Oh, God. See
More
what
of
I have
those
to deal with?
drugs.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. Buy my books, tell your friends. That's the best thing you can do for a writer. If you have a writer you like, tell your friends about them.
Absolutely.
I read this book, and oh my God, it was amazing. It changed my life. You've got to read it. Oh, okay.
Man,
Kind of like I
Some
did
percentage of
when I read,
those.
when I read 400 Days of Oppression. I told everybody that would hold still long enough about it.
mm-hmm.
There you go.
I'm still telling people about it.
You are.
And that's what this is all about. Every one of my novels makes me nickels. That's all.
And that's important.
But them nickels add up.
Yep.
And them nickels spend. And I've got, if you want to count my novellas, and my novellas are anything that start at about 20,000 words and go up, I got about 40 of those up right now. And I got another 30, 40, 50 short stories and short collections and stuff. If I sell one of those every single day, I'm going to make a lot of money.
Okay.
Even at the low rates. So my $5.99 novel, I make 68% a cover on Amazon, which works out to about $4 and I think 7 cents, 8 cents.
Mm-hmm.
I was told there would be no math tonight.
Yeah, I'm not even checking you.
I
Don't even
lied.
ask me
I'm
to check
sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
How many? Yeah, but okay. If
Some
you
number.
take your day job and divide it into how much money you made today,
Yeah.
how many $4 books do you need to sell to even that?
A bunch.
Yeah, I would need a
10.
bunch to
A
offset.
bunch, but it's not that many.
I gotta
Times
do that
30
math.
days, it really adds up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It absolutely does. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
curious.
the
As
real
long as you do the
simple
Okay, hold on.
Real simple math. You're making $10 a month or $10 a day. You're going to make $300 for the month.
Mm-hmm.
You make $100 a day. That's $3,000 a month.
You better get them midgets busy.
Yeah.
And for
I
me,
would need to
it's
sell
not
like
trying
1,000.
to have 1,000 units on one book. It's have 1,000 books out and sell one
Yeah.
each.
Okay.
And you've read book one. Hey, you go buy book two. Then you go buy book three.
All right. Well, I need to be writing.
So
more.
you read Oberon.
I need to be writing a lot
Oberon.
more
You read.
stuff. Maybe not
Yeah.
horror. I don't know. Maybe I need to write sci-fi. I don't know because horror doesn't seem to. Or you know what? I
And
think
the other thing is, my understanding is horror is kind of a small, I don't want to say niche genre, but in terms of total readers, I think it's one of the small ones.
Mhm.
Western's smaller, but sci-fi and fantasy are huge. Romance is huge.
So I want to tell you something.
Sometimes you just have to understand that maybe you're in a genre where you're not going to have that sort of a fan base.
Yeah. You
But
remember-
sci-fi horror sells.
Mhm.
Romance horror would be an interesting mishmash if you wanted to try that.
So-
Mystery horror. Oh my God, paranormal detective. You know how many monster hunter detectives there are in urban fantasy?
Oh man, probably a shit ton.
Shit tons of them. Yeah.
I mean, we
So-
released.
And if you're a good writer, your fans will come with you.
And that's true. Deadman Stone released like a not really a kid's book, but like a young adult book. It's not even like I don't know. Would you consider young adult? It's kind of aimed more like I guess 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, kind of like Goosebump, sort of like, you know. Do you
that's
recall
middle
Goosebumps?
grade.
It'd be like middle grade readers.
Yeah.
So release a book.
Yeah, middle grade readers.
And man, it's the best one we've ever released. And I'm like, we should have been doing this a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, I'm like, these numbers are looking good. Holy hell! All right, let's write more of this. Who else wants to write some?
The one thing
book like this, you know? Yeah,
I got you another one.
you do. All right. Any other
the
questions?
one thing I would caution about writing to market. So you can write something, but if you don't have the passion and the excitement for it, it'll turn into a grind.
Yeah.
Right.
If you don't like, if getting up and writing middle grade books doesn't light your ass on fire, eventually you're just going to write crap because you don't care no more.
Yeah.
I write science
Right.
fiction because it lights my ass on fire. A lot of people try and write to market because they say, "Oh, here's what's selling right now. I should write to it."
Yeah.
And what we always say is, if you can see the bandwagon, it's already gone.
That's true. That's true. And that's a good point.
Write what you know, write what gives you passion, and your fans will find you. And then you'll make new fans.
That is true. Because what you said earlier, I mean, the writers that think of it as a grind, where they don't want to write because it's a chore for them, then maybe they shouldn't be writing. I mean, I have a lot of stories I could
They
tell.
have the cleanest... Those writers have the cleanest houses in the world. Because they'd rather clean than write.
Probably not even. They're not cleaning. They're not cleaning. Their ass is probably on the couch watching TV or something. Maybe.
Or
On
surfing on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they're not writing.
Talking on a podcast.
And
Yeah.
I do this in the
hell.
evening. You guys can have my evening.
Yeah.
I got
was
up.
talking to the
I
rest
wrote
of the
this morning.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
I got a list of excuses. I got work. I got kids. I got podcasts. I got a bunch of other crap. But I can easily find time. I find downtime at work is where I write some stuff here and there, like a short story that I'm not doing anything with or something.
Well, you want a measure of how much I want this? People don't believe me, but I'll tell you anyway. So I live out in the boonies, about 35 miles east-southeast of Seattle, literally out in the Cascade foothills. I used to work catty corner from Safeco Field, corner of First and Atlantic. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I would be out of the house by 4:20, drive in. I would hit the garage when the door opened at 5 o'clock, go upstairs, fix myself coffee, breakfast, check the news, surf, whatever. I'd start writing at 6 o'clock in the kitchen at work. I'd work till about 8 o'clock, and then I'd go over to my desk and do my day job. And I did that for years
Wow.
because that was my writing time. I could have 2 hours in the morning, nobody around, and people learned that I would bite their head off if they wanted to sit and chat.
I see.
8 o'clock, you can have me, but you cannot have me before then.
Man,
So I had a full-time day job,
SK, I'm
50
feeling
hours a week.
I feel like hearing this guy talk. I want to do this. Like I want to just
Go for it.
restart the flame. You know.
So what do you need to do to get there? What kick in the ass do you need, Jesse?
Not waste my time doing other things.
Okay, so make a list.
I got a list. I got a list of things I could probably do.
No, seriously. People always ask me, "Hey, did you see that show?" And the answer is no. I didn't even ask you which one. Doesn't matter. I don't watch television.
Didn't watch it.
I couldn't tell you the last. Actually, I could. The last time I watched television, I had to look this up the other day because somebody asked. It was a crap TV show on Fox on Sunday nights called Legends of the Seeker. And I think it went off the air in 12.
Oh.
Yeah, it went off the air in like 2012. Because I would rather be writing than watching television. Every one of those hours that you spend in front of a television is an hour I'm generating 1,000 words.
I think I'd rather be working to watch that show. Legend of the Seeker? I've never seen it. I don't know. But
it was a really bad Fox fantasy knockoff of, I think, Hercules or something.
Okay.
It was adapted from some book series.
Okay.
It was bad.
Man, well, Mr.
Said,
Ward, this is amazing. Like what we learned today. We got so much. I mean, this marketing book has a lot of information, and I know in the beginning we just had to establish, so the writers listening understand that you are not making this up. Like you are making a living off of your work, and by living, it is an actual living.
Yep.
So yeah, you're coming from a place of wisdom, because a lot of people, because want to promote this show, it's gonna be like, oh my, like, you gotta listen to this because the advice that he's given, you got to take it to heart. Of course, people will read that and be like, oh, it's fake stuff. You know, they're probably clickbait. No, I mean it, guys. Like, you should probably listen to this. I learned a lot. I think other listeners learned a lot.
How did you?
And people can go out to my website and ask me more questions. blazeward.com.
All right.
I'll answer, or Ollie will, one of the two of us.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, like I said at the beginning of the show, towards the end, I will be giving out a $25 gift card to those in the chat, to someone in the chat. I'll choose one. I made a list of those that were active. I see Chris just came in. I guess I'll write his name on the list here because that's active. I'm just messing with you.
Did I get to be on the list?
No, you're not on the list, Becky.
I'm already on the list.
It's like one through 5.
I'm on a different list.
It's 1 through 5. Becky, just choose a number 1 through 5. Or you know what?
3. Let Blaze choose it.
Yeah, Blaze, pick a number 1 through 5.
Hell, I don't know. Somebody grab a dice.
I don't have a dice on hand. I don't have a die on hand.
All right, take number 1. Take number 1.
Okay, number 1. All right. Number 1 was CD. At the very beginning. Okay. So yeah, we'll get in contact with her. Or him or her, whoever that person is. We'll get in contact with that person and let them know. If we can. If not, then we'll have to rerun again.
Then we'll go to number 2. Who was 2?
Well, I'm not gonna tell you. First, we're gonna go for CD. We'll go for number 1. Come on, we can do it. We'll reach out to them and make contact and let them know. Okay.
Right.
Anyway, but like I said, we learned a whole lot from the show. I learned a lot from talking with you. Great information. We could probably do this for like 3 hours. But
yeah, please promise you'll come back.
I'd love to.
Good.
My purpose in writing these books is that I've learned stuff, and people who haven't gotten as far down the road as I have can learn from me, just like I've learned from people ahead of me. It's a pay it forward kind of thing.
My question for you is, can you both be on at the same time? Would that even work?
Oh yeah, probably. I'm currently, I had to drive into town, so I'm sitting in the parking lot at Safeway because I don't necessarily have a good cell signal out at the house. Oh no, I'm serious. It'll drop down to 1x out at the house sometimes.
Yeah, we've heard.
So we both come into town. We both come into town, but you'd call us both and have us both on.
Yeah. Twice she was at the library.
Friday night, the library closed at 6, or I would have been there.
All right. Well.
But yeah, no, I'd love to come back on.
Well, Mr. Ward, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us about this.
Thank you guys for having me.
Hey, no problem. And guys in the chat, ladies in the chat, press the like button, please. Share, subscribe. If you didn't win the gift card, I'm sorry. But just remember, when you give to us, we do give back. I was feeling pretty good. If we reach the new goal, for August, expect more to come out, okay? So, yeah.
Woohoo!
Y'all take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.